Now, here at the end of the game, both players are at 116. Now, dealer average is about 3.6, 3.8 pegs. So if you give them the average number of pegs, it won't be enough for them to win. The idea is for you to keep 5. Count first. Don't fall into this little trap. I hear so many people when they look at a game like that, they say, man, we got a pegging game. No, the only person that's got a pegging game is the dealer if you let them. If you've got 5 and you're counting first, you should make that dealer get 5 pegs the old-fashioned way. Earn them. You're going to play away from every card they lay down. Another important thing, don't worry about that super beautiful hand. It's not going to impress your opponent. If you got 2 4s and a 5 6 and you only need 5 points, why not keep a king? The more tightly grouped your cards are, the better chance the dealer would have to peg out. Keep at least 1 escape card. Keep enough to count out. And keep a card that doesn't look anything like the other ones you're holding. And the other thing is when you, like let's say you lead. Of course, I lead a lot of 5s. I would lead a 5 from 5 points out. I wouldn't lead a 5 from 3 points out. But if I had a 4, 5, 6, and a king, I would lead a 5. I would like to be rid of it. Worst that could happen is a 15. Now 3 points out, I'll have to admit I wouldn't lead the 5. I would do the safe one, the 4. You'd probably do the 4 all the time and take your chances on where it would go from there. Would you lead the 5 anytime?
If the dealer's 5 out, I'd have trouble doing it.
Okay. If the dealer was 7 out, you wouldn't?
Correct.
Okay.
6 would probably be okay. 5 is...
Okay. No, that's a good point. That's why I asked.
15's up for 2, then he's 3 out.
Yeah.
He's still got a chance of a gain of pair on you. And the end of pegging gold.
That's good advice. I'd probably cut it a little closer to the out hole, but that's the rationale for not leading the 5 down there. But
And Ross, you might repeat that too for this, what Todd had said.
what's that?
About his rationale of what, because this may not have picked up what Todd had said.
Oh, okay. My statement was if the dealer was 5 points out and I was counting first and had enough to go out, and say I was playing like a 4, 5, 6 with a king, I would lead the 5 if the dealer needed 5. If the dealer needed 3, I would lead the 4. Todd's position, and it's very valid, was that he'd probably lead the 5, but only if the dealer was 6 or 7 out. But I think the same thing is going on in his mind about the 5 as in mind that the most dangerous card I got in that hand is the 5. See, but that's that's a point or 2 difference, and I think it's a valid consideration. But you need to arrive at these kind of playing rules for your game and apply them consistently. But I see people every week. Maybe some of it has to do with our 24 bear in the club. That people will need 3 points to get out, and they'll hold a 6, 7, 7, 8. I would much rather hold a 7, 8, and 2 kings. Okay, just enough to get out. And I know those of you who play for the bear are probably going to, keep doing that. But at least be thinking of that when you're down there. That the more variety to your cards, the wider the spread of your cards, the better, rather than holding just tightly grouped points. And if you're doing it just to impress your opponent, that you're just holding these super cards and just keep laying them down and rubbing it in, it'll backfire on you. You lose some games that you should be winning. Okay. I'm often asked about how much of cribbage is luck and how much is skill. And in the first lesson you had, there's a paper in there called Cribbage, Luck, or Skill. It's also on the internet. It's a paper I wrote here for the State Gaming Commission because in the state of Washington, cribbage is considered a game of chance, just the same as bingo or blackjack. And you can't convince these bureaucrats anything else. All they've ever seen is a cribbage board in a tavern on the bar. That's all they know about cribbage. And so we have a job to educate people, not only inside cribbage, but outside cribbage. I had got this question several times the last weekend. If cribbage was purely random luck, there's a whole lot of people that play over 30 tournaments a year who are never in the top 10. Now, if it was just random luck, how come those names look so much alike year after year? Because these are people that play by the kinds of rules we're talking about. They play board position, they're good discarders, they know when to play offense and when to play defense. And they do that consistently, so their names show up consistently. I talk to other people. I've had one tell me that I've been playing 16 or 17 tournaments a year for the last 10 years, and I never won a tournament yet. All you 10 years, 16 or 17, somewhere along the line, there ought to be a win there. See? So improve your game. Understand, like all games, sometimes the cards are so overwhelmingly good for you or your opponent that knowledge has nothing to do with who wins the game. But the vast majority of games, and I say it's 80%, but John Chambers says it's 100% in his book. He says what looks like luck in cribbage is actually the result of good decisions made. Okay. So, I guess if you got 2 5s and a 4 6 and you held it, that was a good decision, right? And you cut a card that looked like this, you got the 24 hand because you made a good decision. You held the cards that could get it. The cut just rewarded you for making the right decision. Judgment